you might remember this. We have spoken about it before. Under the terms of the agreement that saw Sir Jim Ratcliffe invest 1.25 billion in the club in 2024 to purchase 28%, if the Glazers receive an offer from a third party that they want to accept, they can force him to sell his portion. The Glazers are horrified by his recent comments, and in the coming days, Sir Jim Ratcliffe is going to discover if the Football Association's legal team has decided the Manchester United co-owner brought the game into disrepute. This is all bad. Like, this is all bad. Well, I don't think it's bad. I think it could be good if they get out of the club. But obviously, it's very bad for the reputation of Manchester United. Now, look, I think that speculation about sales, you've always got to be very, very careful. I think we'd all love to see one. But speaking to somebody last night about this, they basically said, look at the Athletic article, look at the BBC article in the last 24 hours. This isn't going away, and this is being written about by outlets that realistically don't necessarily want to talk about Man United and a sale very often, unless something's going to happen. So what I was told is that, look, this is a very serious situation for Manchester United. And whilst they may be able to navigate their way out of it, it depends whether people want them to. Now, do people want to give Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the Glazers the benefit of the doubt and let them just calm it all down and get a load of brands in and stay for another decade or two? Or do people want to put their foot on the neck and say, no, we're not letting this go? So it's going to be very interesting to see what the FA do, because if the FA charge Sir Jim Ratcliffe, that is more than last week. That keeps the story going. It keeps Man United in negative press. It causes the Glazers more problems. And they do have this vehicle, which I think started this year, where 2 years after Sir Jim Ratcliffe's input, they can sell his shares without his knowledge. Basically, if somebody comes in with an offer that they like, they can accept it. And if Sir Jim Ratcliffe doesn't match it, he has to sell them. So I think we could be at the start of something. I really do. I think that a lot of people are talking about sponsors stepping away. So much is like unpredictable about what's going to happen. I mean, sometimes with these sort of things, they disappear and everything carries on as normal. However, we know what the world's like at the moment. On some very key political issues, on some very key beliefs, people won't let it go. You look about, there's conflicts in the world that have been going on for years, and people are very staunch on which side they're in, whether that's this country or other countries, rightly or wrongly. I think he is. I think Sir Jim Ratcliffe has said something that is not going to just go away. And if it's not going to go away, I think it will have a huge impact on brandification of Manchester United and potentially the stadium, which massively devalues what the club are trying to do and potentially forces the Glazers to have to sell. So look, I think it's real. I do think it's real. I think it's very early days, but I do think it's real. And I wouldn't say I was encouraged, but I was educated from the conversation I had that, look at what people are writing. This has caused huge problems. If Man United was struggling for brands 2 weeks ago, and they were, imagine what they're doing now. They've got current brands who are not happy. Like, they're not happy. They've held conversations with Manchester United. Current brands that we're working with are like, what's all this about? What impact is this going to have on this, that, and the other? You've got new brands that you're trying to attract. You're trying to do a regeneration project. And you've got the issues that you've got. So look, you still need what I said last night, though. You still need somebody to step forward and have the money to buy Manchester United. That's the big thing. Is anybody out there willing to write that check at the moment? Now, also, you've got the Glazers and Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who are absolutely desperate to get this regeneration project up and running so they can make a lot of money. So you're fighting against those things, but it's probably the most problematic position they've been in since they did the deal together. And how they navigate their way out of it is going to be very interesting. If they wanted 6 billion, Ineos would buy it anyway, says Robert McCormack. I don't think they would. I think you need to understand the situation. Robert, sometimes you talk sense and sometimes you talk total shite, like when you talk about how good Mason Mount is. Ineos don't have 6 billion to buy Manchester United. They don't. They don't have it, and they wouldn't do it because Sir Jim Ratcliffe is in huge trouble. Ineos, he's got massive debts. He's got shareholders. Absolutely not. And if they had that money, they'd have bought them in the first place. They didn't have it. There is a huge Saudi offer. It's not to buy Manchester United. So basically, this is coming in from the Times, and effectively, it is saying that Manchester United are preparing, the Saudi Pro League are preparing an £18 million offer to Manchester United to pay their 2026 pre-season in Saudi Arabia during July and August. So basically, remember we've had all this talk about friendlies, that United are so bloody incompetent. I don't know why we haven't done these, by the way. I mean, why haven't we done this? You've got Le Mans out in Belgium. You've got Bruno out in Portugal. They're having a bloody holiday. It's not even an international break. They've had so much time off this season, and they're all having a bloody holiday again. Because what else are they going to do? Carrick can't keep them training for 2 weeks. So we've got our players on 300 grand a week on holiday. No one else is on holiday. Our players are on holiday. It's bloody embarrassing. And I'm not taking a pop at the players. I'm taking a pop at the ownership. You pay these players ridiculous wages, and they're on holiday when everyone else is playing football. And yet, you could have been doing these Saudi games on the multiple weekends and midweek games we've got free. We could have been doing this then. You're now going to do it in the Saudi Pro League. And I just think people are getting excited about it, right? 18 million to go and play our pre-season tour in Saudi, right? We normally go to the States. We could go to, the other side of the world. We normally go to places where, to be honest with you, it's a little bit more interesting than going to Saudi just for a paycheck, because Saudi will be. I don't find a Saudi Pro League pre-season massively inspiring. I just think it's just quite dull, if I'm being honest. However, the money's not even that much. 18 million, and people are getting excited, right? This is from an article in the summer. Manchester United are set to earn around 15 million from their 2025 US pre-season tour. Based on recent reports regarding their summer schedule, they'll earn 7.5 million from participating in the Premier League Summer Series. Also, there'll be brand opportunities and other commercial power plays they can make to knock it up to about 15 million. So if we're making about 15 million last summer, and we're going to the Saudi Pro Tour and we're going to make 18 million, all right, okay, it's still a considerable amount of money, but it's not like, I don't know why we haven't done this in season. That's my point. I thought we were going to go and play a friendly against Ronaldo's team for 5 million. I mean, why have we not done that? You know what would have been a good idea this weekend? To go to the Saudi League and play a game. Or this Monday, or this Tuesday, or this Wednesday. That would have been a really clever idea, because we actually need the game as well. So if we'd gone out to the Saudi Pro League today and played a game that's on the telly, loads of people would have watched it, and we would have made 5 million quid out of it. Instead, we're going to go to the Saudi Pro League for the US tour, for the tour, not the US tour, although we do go to we're going to go to the Saudi Pro League when we normally go on tour and make a load of money anyway. And, look, there might well be reasons. However, I think they've dropped the ball again, haven't they? They really have. And look, as I say, I haven't got a problem with players being on holiday when there's nothing else to do. But there's nothing to do because we've failed. The reason we've had this period of time off is because we messed up in the FA Cup. It's not a reward, it's a crime. And we should, as a football club, be utilising this time to do things that could help us out financially. It's obvious.